Hey everybody, it's Chad and Madeline, and we're with Team Dusick and Edina Realty, and this is Everything Twin Ports. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Duluth School District proposed boundary changes. There's been a lot of talk about it lately, and we wanted to dive in more to what's going on and educate you out there about what exactly are the proposals.
And first off, we do want to state that even though these three proposals are the ones that they're talking about right now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the only three that are presented for a final outcome. So we're just highlighting the ones that we've heard a lot about as of right now. But again, that doesn't mean they're going to be the only three that are talked
Sure,
about.
definitely.
And actually, most school districts change their internal boundaries every 2 to 3 years. And just for a point of reference, Duluth hasn't changed its boundaries in over 10 years. So we're seeing a lot of overpopulation within the eastern school districts, and that's why these three proposals came to be.
Awesome. Well, that being said, we're going to switch over to the computer screen, and you guys are going to follow us along on our computers. We look at the different scenarios. So we'll catch you in a second. Okay, everybody, we're online now, and this is an actual document from the Duluth School Districts website, and it shows the current school boundaries as they stand right now, and it shows the amount of people in the different areas as far as the capacity for the school, for students, and who lives in and outside of those areas. On this lower graph, you can see down here, it shows what elementary schools are on the left, and then where they feed to middle school, and then on to the high school, and what percentages are in there. So that's currently as it stands. So here's scenario number one. Some of the key points to look at is the Lowell Elementary School in this scenario will become a Spanish and an Ojibwe immersion school only. So it won't be a neighborhood school. It's a Spanish and an Ojibwe language immersion school. And so also what will happen with this scenario is the enrollment and demographics become more balanced at the middle school and high school levels. And so again, you can see down here with this scenario one, it shows your elementary schools and it shows where they feed to middle school and then on to high school as well. Okay, scenario number two, a little bit of a change as well, is the Lowell school becomes a neighborhood school and the Spanish immersion school in the district. There will be an Ojibwe immersion as well, and that's going to be out at Stowe Elementary School. So not all at the last school, but it's going to be all broken up on east and western sides of town. Also, the enrollment would become more balanced as well amongst the middle schools and high schools. Demographics remain unbalanced though, so for diversity reasons, that is less desirable potentially there. Also, we're talking about the elementary schools, and it shows again where they will feed into middle school and then on to the high school. Scenario number three is kind of a compromise between both options. Lowell Elementary School remains a Spanish immersion, Ojibwe immersion, and a neighborhood school. And with this, enrollment and demographics become more balanced at the middle school and high school level. So both enrollment, again, and demographics become more balanced. And again, you can see which elementary school will then funnel into which Lincoln or a middle school, excuse me, and then to what high school as well.
So now we're going to actually dive in and put a real address in to see how these different scenarios would affect you. This is a really great tool for anyone to use if they're curious as to how exactly it's going to affect you. So you put your address in. We chose Kenwood Avenue because it's very centrally located and it's affected by every single scenario.
For sure. So 1515 Kenwood Avenue happens to be a business, and it's right here as it pops up. So we're on the far right here, elementary boundary scenario number one, and you can just actually click on it and it'll tell you Homecroft Elementary School is your school that's associated with that address. Now you can also look at scenario number two, and it'll show you that you're still scenario number two in that Homecroft area. Scenario number three, it pulls you down to this area. And I'll put the elementary school back up. And it's Lowell Elementary School. So for each scenario, you can adjust it. So we'll look at, let's just say, middle school boundary number two. So option number two, you're going to be Ordine East. And obviously that will feed into Duluth East High School. Scenario number 3 is still, actually, it looks like it's jumped over there. Ooh, you're around the line, looks like. So that's going to be Denfeld as well. So it's very informative. Your address, you put it in, it's going to give you really accurate information as far as where your elementary school will then be located, what it would feed into middle school wise, and then on to the high school as well. So just to jump over to, there's a Survey Monkey out there for the school district they have, right, ISD 709. They're looking for public comment on these 3 options, and the survey will actually close on February 3rd. So that's Monday at 8 a.m. So you've got this weekend to get your public comment in, and the third-party company that the district has hired to do this research will take that survey information into context, and then they will present a final recommendation to the school district.
All right, well, we hope that this gave you guys a little bit more information as to what's going on right now with the school districts, and that it was a little bit informative. Thanks again for tuning in on this week's episode of Everything Twin Ports, and if you like this video, like, comment, share it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.